Good heavens, just look at the time. Here we are once again with Quest for Glory on Questing for Glory. My name is davidtki, and I am joined by my fellow runner, Lemming.
Hello.
And on commentary, we have Reynault and Swimfan.
Greetings. Yes, I am Renault.
And I'm Swimfan, and I'm ready to quest for glory.
All right. So for this year's Quest for Glory collection, we have decided to we've decided to go back to basics just a little bit. We're doing a classic collection any percent run as the fastest class, the Thief. Only we're doing things a little bit different because Quest for Glory 4 had some stuff discovered that applies only to floppy version 1.0, and floppy version 1.0 runs very slowly in DOSBox. So some of our runners were like, well, let's switch to ScumVM. And some of our runners were like, no, I want to stick to DOSBox. So I'm going to be going through this series DOSBox, and Lemming will be using ScumVM. Anything to add to that, Lemming?
Just that right away you're probably going to notice some route variants as Reynault and Swimfan here have discovered a lot of skips in really, I think, 4 out of 5 games in the past year. So you're going to see some variants right away. It's probably going to look like one of us gets really far ahead really quickly, and with any luck, that's actually going to close out as we get further in, and you'll really appreciate just how different these emulators are of games from 30 years ago, and hopefully it'll be a good time.
Hopefully we'll find out once and for all which is the better emulator. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we actually don't know. All right, let's go ahead and get to the character stats screen and get ready to go. But immediately, yeah, I'll go ahead and name my character Questing for Glory, but we're going to use different starting stats simply because of different routes in Quest for Glory 1. I'm going to stick enough into Vitality to get my health up to 20, and then stick the rest into Magic. And Lemming, what are you doing?
Well, I am going to put 35 points into Stealth, which is the minimum requirement for a longer route that I am obligated to do, as there is a certain skip that David can perform in DOSBox, which we can, as of yet, not replicate in ScumVM. That leaves me with less points to distribute. I need 20 points of Strength to open a very heavy door later on. I actually have to grind a little bit to get there. And then I am going to put 5 points in Magic, because Magic is basically cheating. And we do want to get that stat queued up here at the beginning of the run.
All right, so I'm ready to go. You ready, Lemming?
I'm here. Yeah. Right. Reynault, Swimfan, can one of you count us down?
Sure. We are starting in 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, you're going to see route differences immediately going into this because I am going to go straight to the magic shop to get the fetch spell, whereas Lemming is going to leave town immediately.
Immediately run away. And a lot of the spell decisions you make in this first game affect the second and third and maybe fourth game as well.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. And Lemming hits his first random encounter.
Actually, let's pop into safety zone here.
But yeah, I'm grabbing the fetch spell and then running immediately to the Brigand Fortress, but I am not going to take the back way in like I usually do. Instead, I am going to the ambush. That's because of a neat out-of-bounds trick that Swimfan discovered, which only works in DOSBox. So, down, left, arrows, yeet.
He's going for it. He's basically running around the whole screen and hoping he doesn't get hit by too many arrows on the way. And then he's going to run around the gate here, too. Oh, nice. Nicely done.
I did something very funny. I accidentally clicked the lockpick on myself.
That's Lemming choosing the unorthodox strat of picking his nose.
Oh, whoa! I ran over the pit. Okay, going very smoothly. You know, marathon will marathon, but I did actually safety save before entering here.
Very intelligent.
And I got arrowed. This route is fraught with peril. I
It's
did.
a tough one. It's also pretty new, all these new tricks here.
Yeah,
so.
What David's attempting is hot off the presses, and it's still, we haven't found, I would say, a beginner-friendly approach to it, and we kind of all are beginners with that particular skip at the moment.
Yeah, it's very, very precise, and you're doing movements when you can't see your character, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, part of what's throwing this off is that at Questing for Glory 2, we accidentally proved that at the time Quest for Glory 1 EGA was faster, but then with the advent of ScumVM versus DOSBox, as well as the recent Out of Bounds, now VGA is faster.
Which was a sad day for all of us. I mean, well, for me especially, because I love those old EGA graphics.
It should be noted that it is also Infan's fault that we're doing this.
Okay, but I do have a little trick that I'm going to do, but I'm going to safety save for it. Turning isn't walking, so as I turn and walk, I cast Fetch, but whoops! Okay, I wasn't quick enough there. I needed to react more quickly. Did I turn the speed down? Yeah, okay, we're still turning. Everything's good. Okay, there we go.
Yep.
I am gonna just dive right across the room. Yeah, basically the rule is that we're gonna export the character at the end of each game, import it into the next one. How we get to the export screen is quite frankly up to us. So, there we go. That's Quest for Glory 1 done for me. But like, but the screen is going to look very funny because of that trick that I did in the maze. Like, if you think the Kiro looked derpy on this screen before, then just take a look. Beautiful! Oh, that looks so amazing.
Gotta love VGA palette corruption. Yeah, turning isn't walking is a glitch that our runners will be taking advantage of several times throughout the run, I believe.
It is a common bug, I guess you'd call it, in Sierra SCI engine games, some of their later games, so that a whole lot of Sierra games have the exact same glitch where while you are turning, if you do something else, like cast a spell, the game will forget that you are supposed to stop moving. And when your turn finishes, you will walk to wherever you wanted to walk, but you will probably be doing an animation of whatever thing you did during the turn. And you can use this trick to sort of float over a lot of dangerous zones and even float into the sky, like you're going to see here.
Yeah, so watch David's screen here. Yep, so by casting a spell as he was turning, it allowed him to clip through the region that would cause him to go north in the desert, and now he's running across the sky.
Yeah, you're getting a little spacewalking. So this is a fun trick in Quest for Glory 2. So in Quest for Glory 2, there is a desert region, which is really, really big. It's about 8,000 screens. And it is all technically one room. So what you're seeing here is David running west, many screens, but technically he is only on one screen. But he's essentially adjusting the formula of where he ends up, so he ends up in a very specific place. So we discovered that in addition to some normal game rooms that are supposed to be in the desert, like an oasis, all of the game rooms are also stored in the desert, but they're stored at negative room numbers, which you can only reach by going over the mountains, which is impossible, right? Oh, well, no. We can turn and not walk to do a little gliding northwest in order to cross the mountains, and doing so puts us into the negative zone, essentially, and David has arranged himself so that he is in the exact spot where the negative room he's about to enter is the export screen. So it is past the ending where you export your hero for the next game. Ta-da!
And just to see a huge difference in emulator, as I enter Quest for Glory 2, you're going to find that my own attempt at doing the exact same thing is going to be much, much more involved.
I think it's 4 times as long in ScumVM.
Yeah,
Something
I mean,
like
it gets to the point where I almost question. I almost debated using a different version of the game entirely and not doing the skip. But the fact is that warping to the end of the game, you really can't discount that.
Yeah, so my understanding in terms of differences between running these games in DOSBox versus ScumVM is that in DOSBox, your movement speed, screen transitions, and animations are all faster, but in ScumVM, load times are faster. So if it needs to load graphics, which I think it's primarily the VGA games where ScumVM gets to take advantage of that. But here, doing the desert run, here you can see Lemming running across the sky right now, and it is a lot slower than it was for David. And so this is going to be something like a 4-minute run for Lemming, whereas it was a little over 1 minute for David.
Yeah, remarkably uninteresting screen here for 2.
Hey, David, what are you doing right now?
Sleeping.
Looks like you're too impatient to sleep.
I will get my rest one way for another. This is a lot like how I try to sleep in real life, honestly.
Yeah, this is last night for me. Basically, David's doing a trick we call bed tech, which is tricking the game into letting you rest more than you normally would be able to, so that we can end the day fast and get to an important meeting.
The real terror of the slow desert over here on my right is that I can avoid most monsters, but if I get a purple dinosaur attacking me from the left, it will come into contact and we have to reload. So I am taking periodic safety saves here and hoping that doesn't happen.
So what David is hoping to do here is that normally for the meeting that happens with the Raja, you have to sleep overnight one more time. And there he just successfully executed a glitch that canceled out of the animation that would cause him to sleep. And so he walks out of the room and it immediately starts the cutscene.
Yeah, normally there's a very long sleep animation that he got to skip. So coming up is a mega skip for Quest for Glory 3 that davidtki here found while traveling with the paladin Rakesh. You have a moment when the screen transitions to click on the walk icon and move, and it breaks you out of your automatic path that you're taking and lets you go wherever you want. This is called the David's Do-Gooder Ditch. Do I have that right? Or DDD?
Yes, you have that right.
Because
Although
you're getting rid of Rakesh, the Do-Gooder.
Yeah, although recently we've debated renaming everything to Miller, so that could be Miller's map maneuver.
Miller being one of our original architects of Quest for Glory speedrunning, so he's well regarded in the community.
So one great thing about this trick is the game still thinks you are quote-unquote traveling with someone. That flag is on. So if you go all the way to the east, where later in the game, where is the end game, where later in the game you travel with Manu the monkey, the game still thinks you're traveling with someone because you were just with Rakesh the Liontar. So it just sets you on the end game path.
Hey, Swimfan, what is a Liontar?
It's got 6 legs, I think, and pretty sexy.
That's too many spiders?
Well, he's got 4 legs and 2 arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a kind of a fortuitous quirk in the programming of the game that the exact same flag that marks that indicates that Rakesh is escorting you to the Simbani village also happens to be the same flag that the game uses to track Manu escorting you to the Lost City.
It's a beautiful, elegant skip.
It's hard to click on things.
Yeah, 1 pixel there. 1 pixel.
1 pixel. And yes, it does look like I'm getting way ahead of Lemming, but I'm going to lose a little bit of time in Quest for Glory 3 and a lot of time in Quest for Glory 4.
And I did unfortunately pick my nose in Quest for Glory 1, so I am actually a little bit behind more than planned, but I think we can still get a run going here.
It killed you?
Yep. If you pick your nose with a lockpick at low skill level, it will cause a brain hemorrhage and signal your demise, which is exactly what I did. Accidentally clicked my lockpick on myself. A great example of maybe why the text parser version of that is better.
Yeah.
Should have paid attention to the Surgeon General's warning.
I know. Literal skill issue.
So, one of the main reasons I picked up the fetch spell in Quest for Glory 1 was so I could fetch that eye, rather than have to wait for one of those patrollers to leave. Which saves me for several seconds. I'll use fetch more
surprisingly
later.
long.
But,
So, David, you're a thief. So that means you're not going to be doing much combat, right?
let me get back to you on that. Okay, I will be doing combat, but I'm going to cheat at it.
Yeah.
How about that?
Legendary runner Miller found a fun way to fight really, really effectively.
Yes, despite our stats being incredibly low and this not being otherwise feasible, a feasible fight to survive, the strategy that we call Zappy Stabby allows you to cast Zap and then I'm not exactly sure how it works.
It's kind of
No one's
combo
quite sure how it
casting.
works.
You're kind of comboing casting a spell, switching over to weapons, and then attacking all in one smooth motion. And basically, for some reason, we don't know why, it gives you 100% accuracy. So you always get that stab in, even if you are very bad at stabbing normally.
Yeah, normally in that fight, I think it just takes like 1 or 2 hits from the demon to knock you out.
And before, in the collection run, that was a big reset point, as I recall. Like
we
this
would
basically allows us to get a lot more heroes through.
Yeah, we would try to flame dart the demon down, but we would frequently run out of mana before the demon ran out of health.
Yeah.
And that was with a magic stat somewhere around 150 to 175.
And so David here is sitting through a long cutscene where we're meeting all of the cool friends we met along the way in the game that we never actually met.
Let us know your favorite friend in the comments.
Yeah. I'm taking the monkey.
Turns out the requirements for being named a hero is a lot lower than we thought it would be.
Yeah, we've pretty much squeezed out all the heroism from this collection run. I don't know that we do anything good. Oh, except this. You're killing the demon wizard. That still happens.
And we still kill the assassin in 5.
That's true.
Not much else.
You can't verify that.
Yeah, we don't know. Well, we hear the points chime, so we're pretty sure.
I turned the skill slider up just to make the demon attack more quickly.
Yeah, he gets saved in that fight with that little backstab once his health is low, right?
Yeah.
Once your health is low.
And so here David's doing another out-of-bounds trick. Just as he walks into the room here, he initiates a movement that skips the cutscene at the very start, and it just allows him to walk around to that endpoint and perform the final action to end the game.
It's a beautiful skip.
And a beautiful dance at the end.
And a beautiful dance.
Rakesh will yell and lament for questing for glory.
Yeah.
One small advantage I have in Quest for Glory 3 and Scum VM is that although our hero character actually moves slower, there's really not a lot of moving in this particular speedrun anymore. And I do have a lot faster loading and a lot faster menus. The things that take forever in DOSBox actually are pretty timely here in Scum VM.
Speaking of timely, I'm going to boot up Quest for Glory 4 now, and you're going to see that it's not very timely for me, because we're starting off with just 30, 40 seconds of black screen here while it tries to load the MT32 drivers. I could do this more quickly if I did Sound Blaster, but I don't want to.
Yeah, you want
David
those.
sacrificing time for some sweet, sweet music.
Yeah, those synthesized instruments are worth it.
It may or may not also be a flex over Lemming.
Oh, it's definitely like. What'd you say, Renault, yesterday? David's here for a good time, and I'm here for a good time.
That's right.
Alright, I'm going to... Quest for Glory 4 brings all your stats up to minimum, which is one of the things that makes this collection run viable. So strictly speaking, I'm better than a new character. I stick all 100 points into strength to get strength to 300, because I'm going to need 301 strength for something. I'm going to turn speed up, skill down, detail down, and autosave off, because that autosave takes a lot of time on each screen in which it runs. So that's one of the things that's going to make my run less safe. Whoops.
How'd you hit that other torch?
I don't know. I seem to hit it a lot.
Yeah, that's a weird thing that happens when you cast Flame Dart on the torch. For some reason, you aim for the one on the left first.
Huh.
Yeah, I have hit the far right side of the altar and lit the left torch.
Just another strange quirk here. Speaking of strange quirks, on this next
I'm
screen,
going to make fetch happen.
That's right.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't happen much, but some of the debug functions in the game were left in for the final version, including being able to hit Shift W there to cast fetch, and it kind of breaks the room and lets you skip a bunch of cutscene stuff.
Yep.
Right.
David did another out of bounds here, and now he's going to do a little journey through the swamp.
And you are fast walking through this swamp, right?
I am turning the game speed up on every screen.
Ah.
Yes, this is one of the reasons why I believe the reason why you wanted 300 strength, because the swamp very quickly drains your stamina otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is entirely possible to acrobatics your way across the swamp, but wow, that Chernobyl fight went way better than usual.
Yeah, that was great. Maybe perfect?
Probably, as close to perfect as possible. But there's one other reason that you really want to get into the swamp, which is that for some reason, if you use strength to wade through the swamp and then you exit the swamp again, the hero's movement speed is going to be permanently increased for the rest of the game.
Which is a pretty big change, right? Like that saves a whole lot of time, right?
Yeah, over the course of the entire run. Shout out to Jacobine for discovering that.
Yeah.
And shout out to Miller, just cause.
Yeah, legendary runner Miller. Shout out.
Yes. We call this Miller speed. A bit of an esoteric reference to from the history of speedruns, where Miller was getting different speeds from all the other runners, and it was causing some awkwardness in terms of validating or invalidating those runs. But in commemoration, we refer to this as Miller speed.
Yeah, all super speeds are Miller speed.
It's always important to never let a community member live something down.
Yeah, we don't want them to forget.
Yeah, so I'm trying to rest until sunset begins to approach. Okay, yeah, we just saw Dimitri come to the window. So one of the reasons that I want 300 strength is so that I can break down this door, get on here, and get just one more strength. That way I now have 301 strength. Since sunset's approaching, Igor's not here to yell at us, so we can just go right in. Yeah, we're not waiting until day 3 to do this anymore. Let's see. First of all, feed Hector the garlic, and then use the 301 strength to break this open and get a healing potion.
And normally, the intention is for the thief to be able to pick the lock on that cabinet, but it is bugged. So he's got to smash it.
That, and we don't have lockpicks.
Well, that's a problem too.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get a single flame dart torch here.
Yeah, Lemming now entering Quest for Glory 4. Yep.
That's how you do it. You don't actually aim at the torch. You aim a good deal below it, and then you'll get it.
Oh, today I learned. One other neat thing is that Lemming leaves autosave on, because saving does not cost him time.
Yeah, I mean, even just starting the game, like, I don't get, like, a 10-second, like, slowdown of just waiting for the actual game to start. It just boots up immediately.
Yes, you did the tactical sound blaster option, or ad-lib synthesizer.
Alright, since it's not quite dark yet, the gates are still open. And now that I'm out, I can rest, and now it's nighttime, because I got stuff to do at night.
Yeah, the main objective in Quest for Glory 4, the thing that gates being able to access the end game, is acquiring all 5 rituals of the Dark One. And there was has this game been shown off in Questing for Glory since the goon skip was found?
The last time we did a full collection, any percent was Questing for Glory 2.
Jeez. So no, yeah. So we've got a new mega skip called Goon Skip that is coming up soon, where we can skip getting several of the rituals, right?
We need to get all the rituals, but we can skip getting Irana's staff and the rehydration solution, the
saving
ultimate
Tanya.
joke.
Yeah, which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so all I'm really doing is collecting all of the rituals, which I've got the bone ritual, the blood ritual, the sense ritual, which means I need to get the last two, the heart ritual, which is guarded by a very powerful wraith, and the breath ritual, which Baba Yaga has, and normally I need a hat to get to her, but I'm not getting the hat.
Normally you need a hat. So in the context of the story of this game, the hero is basically trapped into collecting these rituals to summon a dark Cthulhu-like being. But hopefully before that Cthulhu-like being comes into being, we will save the day. But until then, gotta collect it. And like the other Quest for Glory games, the day-night cycle plays a big part. There are things you can only do in the day and only do at night.
Yeah, I accidentally messed up my sleep count, so I do have Igor awake, and he waved up his arms up and down and tried to tell me not to go into Murder House.
Oh.
But that's all right.
The wraith fight went poorly for me.
He's only trying to protect you.
The Wraith fight's kind of interesting in that you actually want him to try and pummel you for projectile at a certain point so you can crash in front of him. So if he's passive, it's actually problematic. You want him to get a little aggro on you so you can get in his face.
There we go. Yeah.
Taking him down.
Yeah, moving forward is very slow and awkward in combat in Quest for Glory 4.
Especially when you're doing floppy 1.0 and DOSBox.
Yeah, the Quest for Glory series is interesting in that the combat system in every game is different. Usually the strategy is just to attack as fast as possible, but Quest for Glory 4 is a little bit different because your positioning really matters.
All right, so normally lasers guard the way into Baba Yaga's place. I'll go ahead and safety save here just because of the way the run's been going. There's two different ways that we have to get past this laser, and I'm using the old method because my game doesn't run fast enough to do the new method. But basically, I do turning isn't walking, greet the skull several times, and then once the lasers knock me back, I just run past him real quick. Lemming, when he gets here, is going to do something a little bit different. He's going to be able to interact with the hangman here and use the touching animation to slide past the lasers. And yeah, that we call hat skip. And I've done the old version, Lemming's doing the new one.
Shout out to runner Kane for finding that.
Dang it.
Lemming entering the deadly Wraith fight right now.
Yes, and it's more deadly in this version of the game because his health is draining faster than it was for David.
That and the projectiles are slower for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, here we go. We're good.
Which makes
sometimes if I'm doing a really good job, you want a top projectile. The bottom ones tend not to hit you, but sometimes you can finesse it where on your return from screw attack you can get hit by it. Whenever I hit that, I feel really good about it, but that's all right. On third try, we got what we needed.
Both runners are at the same night in the same game.
Yeah, here you can see the faster load times really working out in Lemming's favor now.
And Quest for Glory 4, despite us having some nice skips, is still the most full story of the games that we're going to see today. We play the most of Quest for Glory 4 of all 5.
Yeah, so I still need to make the pie, but I can require less work. It's really just like 2 distinct pieces of tech instead of like 4 coming together like hat skip.
Now, David is in the castle, which is a very dangerous place, but it is also the location of the big mega skip, the goon skip. So eventually in the game, you get captured by the bad guy out of East and are sent to the dungeon of this castle. It just so happens, though, if you can get to the dungeon another way, it kind of just skips you to that point in the story where it assumes you were captured and a bunch of stuff you can skip right on by. The developers, at some point, you were able to go just walk through a door in this castle and get to the dungeon. But at some point in development, they cut that off so that you could only get there through a cutscene, and they put 2 guards in front of the gate that are basically block the whole door sprite so that you can't interact with it. Problem is, they might have missed a couple pixels, and the door underneath still leads to the dungeon. So if you can cast open on one of those pixels, these guys don't even do anything about it.
Woo!
And you can
Excuse
walk
me,
on
fellas.
by it.
It's normally an instant game over if you walk too close to them.
Yeah, a fight you cannot win for some reason.
Yep.
Although-
David there just used another debug key to cast a spell to skip out of the East cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
Although, actually, if you do not have the open spell, you can still get through that door by dying and then doing a death cancel where you basically opt out of the death message and continue playing.
Just
And the game
cancel
lets you do
death.
And I think the door's not even locked, right? Or does it? Is it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just for the thief. I think.
So
everything's
sometimes,
locked.
so the idea is that thieves are supposed to have locked doors in the castle, just a way to flex their lock picking skills. But sometimes they just aren't locked, and I actually don't know how that would apply for the goon door. Worth
Lemming
playing around
approaching
with.
Goon skip here as well. You can see the 2 runs are converging.
Mm-hmm.
And David headed to the end game. Basically, he got all of the rituals before he did that little skip. So now he's entering the final bit where he's supposed to cast all those rituals. Except
This is
except
floppy,
we're running the floppy version of the game.
floppy
yeah, version
1.0.
1.0 floppy version, the first version that came out. And like many video games, but Sierra games especially, were pushed out a little fast, didn't get enough playtesting, didn't get enough development time. So there were some problems, like, you know, you can just kind of skip doing all of the rituals by climbing up the final altar here.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that without having done all 5 rituals.
Yeah.
But we do.
And here we are in the brain.
Also, this final screen gives you Arana's staff for free, but only on this version.
Yeah. Otherwise, you are you are stuck if you don't have the staff in late versions.
Yeah, most of the things you've seen so far are actually CD version viable. It's just that we can't benefit from the staff magically appearing in our inventory at the end of the game, so we are obligated to do this slower version.
Adavis, you want to hear a joke? Leave it to your imagination what the joke is, or come up with your own.
What screen has 4 legs and can kill you when it falls on you? A pool table.
Yeah, okay. Lion Tar. Oh.
So it's looking like this might be close enough where it is going to come down to some RNG in the 5th and final game of the series. David's got a pretty good lead here,
Convergence, though.
but it is still kind of close.
Yeah.
If he
Lemming on the
gets
last
exceptionally bad luck and I get exceptionally good luck, we might still have something here.
Yeah, so the 5th and final game in the series is normally quite long. There are 7 major quests that you need to complete in order to compete in the Rights of Rulership to determine the new King of Silmaria.
Whoa, I got a good spawn.
Yep, that is the fastest spawn in that room to be able to exit quickly. Here, David's going to save his game, and then he's going to trigger a random encounter. This is going to, the game is going to store this location so that it remembers it, and he's going to try to return to that location using a wrong warp glitch later. And then for no apparent reason, he's just going to cast a frostbite spell into this wall here. And that little jingle tells us that he has killed the assassin that is hiding behind that wall. The main problem in this game is an assassin that's going around killing a bunch of people, and in this area you have an encounter with that assassin in the 7th and final rite. But before that encounter, he just happens to be hiding behind that wall, and an AoE spell like Frostbite is enough to be able to kill him, which sets a flag that triggers the cutscene that starts the end game, where you need to confront whoever hired that assassin.
That skip is so awesome.
I think that's
It's another quirk of programming that just so happens that we can take advantage of that to do a mega skip, and now we don't have to do any of the rites of rulership.
It's amazing.
I think it is technically our oldest piece of tech too, because that was discovered by non-runners back a few years after the game's release, I believe.
Ew, non-runners.
Yeah, it was just some random forum post of just another player who discovered it.
Yeah, at the time they were actually really bummed about it because it meant that they could play the game wrong.
Right, so now David's going to save his game, and now he's going to do the wrong warp glitch, where he loads his earlier save, triggers a random encounter, then before the encounter starts, loads his current save, and that causes the encounter to happen in the new save. And when he leaves the room, you did get a bad spawn. But the wrong warp glitch allows you to basically leave your current location and appear on the world map, potentially at the same location that you stored before. It's unfortunately a very complicated glitch. We don't have enough time to explain all the details of how it works, but it basically allows you to leave that island, which would normally take another 3-ish minutes to finish the rest of the game, and instead return back to Silmaria.
And that fancy glitch was discovered by legendary runner Renault, right? Renault?
Well, that use case of it, yes. The original wrong warp glitch was discovered by David.
Oh, that's right. The soul yeet out of Hades.
Yes. So to finish the game, we need to get back into the Hall of Kings for the final coronation ceremony, and we could just run there. But part of the endgame for Thieves also includes being named Chief Thief, which just requires entering the Thieves Guild, which is why our runners are currently trying to solve the trap to re-enter the Thieves.
Oh, look at how close, though.
Time.
On the trap, too. Time.
GG.
Well, mateys, it be the time to say the name of the next chief thief. We be here tonight.
And Lemming just not that far behind.
Yeah, wow. GG.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was what, 15 seconds?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, if it weren't for the nose picking, that would have been a lot closer
Shouldn't
too.
have died in Quest for Glory 1, but I'm glad it came down to a nice clean even race here. And you can check out all the deeds we did. We did Defeat Assassin. That sounds important. Disarm Trap. That's a lot. What did we miss? Oh.
Uh-oh.
Quest for Glory 5 is a very large game, and we basically do none of it in the 80% route now.
Yeah, so there you have it. 5 games, what, 30 minutes? Where are we at?
Yeah, well, I think that took about 33.5 minutes or so for me. If you're really good at it, you can make it a tight low 31 for Scum VM. And who knows, maybe this is our to-do list for 2025, is mix and matching some of these emulators and seeing just how low it can go.
Mm-hmm.
That would put it in the 25-minute range, I think.
I have to imagine, yeah.
Deeds yet to be done. Wax.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for having us on Questing for Glory again. And see you all later.
you.